Welcome to the introductory video for the ISTEC Sappi ESD Coaching and Mentoring channel. In this channel, I would like to give you some background on what the program is for and how we will tackle the program, basic structure, the tools, and where you can go to get more information. Sappi in Gondwana has contracted ISTEC Sappi to help with development of their emerging suppliers. That would mean all the local suppliers around the Gondwana facility, to develop them so that they can actually do business with local people, which will benefit both Sappi as well as the local people, the people in the area in a 50-kilometer radius around Gondwana. This program is supervised and run by Tsakani Hinyakani. She is the sponsor of the project on behalf of Sappi, with her assistant Palesa Mukebe, and ISTEC are contracted to do the on-site consultation and training for emerging suppliers. So how does this process work? Well, after we were contracted, two people from ISTEC, Johan Talliard and myself, we interviewed approximately about 70-75% of the ESD, the suppliers and service providers, with the idea of getting to know the service providers better, to understand what the level of safety management is, what kind of businesses they are engaged in, what size the companies are, and so forth. On completion of the interviews, we compiled a summary report for Sappi, and we charted the way forward to help the beneficiaries achieve a level of development as required by Sappi, but which will also help them to do business not only with Sappi, but with any other business in the country. ISTEC, as part of this program, we will provide an on-site coach that will assist with, in the short term, compliance with the HSE spec by providing advice, templates, and training for suppliers to achieve the Sappi HSE spec and to have good safety files. That consultant is currently Frans Grobler, and he will be on site at the training center during office hours from Monday morning until Friday afternoon at 2 o'clock. The second leg of the program is training and development. Now, we will roll out training in two manners. The first one is online training, similar to this video, and we will use YouTube channel and the Google Classroom for various reasons that we will go into a little bit later. We will also provide on-site training for certain training topics, and whenever a common problem arises amongst the ESDs where a live workshop or something would work better in terms of training delivery. The two main objectives of the program is firstly to develop local suppliers so that they can do business with Sappi, deliver services, products, whatever is required, which will benefit not only Sappi but also the local population around Sappi, so that some of the money, some of the benefits of having Sappi in the area can flow into the community. This is part of Sappi's corporate social responsibility. However, Sappi or any company still has a legal obligation under the Occupational Health and Safety Act to make sure that whoever is affected by their operations and their businesses can do so, can operate, live, do business in such a way that nobody is hurt or suffers any occupational diseases or any other issues. So Sappi has an obligation when they develop local suppliers to make sure that those local suppliers can not only work safely on the Sappi site, but that both Sappi's operations as well as that of the contractors that they employ does not impact negatively on the safety and health of people within Sappi, outside of Sappi, employers of Sappi, contractors themselves. So those are the two main objectives. Like I said, the developmental activities will be sixfold. Firstly, we will have a WhatsApp communication channel which has already been established. There we will spread information, update people. So it's important, if you are part of this program, that you keep your eyes and your ears tuned to that WhatsApp channel, so that you are up to date with the latest notifications. It's the easiest way by which we can communicate with a mass of people, because, as you know, the platform can share videos, we can share voice notes, we can share photographs, and most everybody is using it nowadays. Secondly, we will be delivering on-site coaching, as I've already explained. On-site expert in the form of Frans Grobler that will assist with coaching, training, making sure that your safety files and your SHE system short-term complies with the SHE specification or the HSE specification as required by Sappi, so that you can start doing business with Sappi when you conform to all the vendor requirements. We are also establishing a YouTube channel, and this video is the first one on that channel, which describes the program and the methods and how we are going to go about this. In the description to this video, there are also links to emails and telephone numbers that you can follow. Another channel that we will follow is the Google Classroom. It's a free online training facility. It really gained popularity and was nicely developed during the lockdown for COVID. It's a very useful setup. We can distribute training material, documents, videos, give instructions for lessons, have instructional videos, and get feedback from learners and participants in the program in the form of assignments or feedback forms. From time to time, there will be on-site training. Some of the training that we need to deliver will not be able to flow through online channels. Those are things where there's practical work required, practical observation. I'm thinking of working at height, confined space entry, gas testing, first aid training, and training like that. When it gets to the point that we will do that training, we will schedule the training, participants will enlist, Sappi pays for that training, and then we will roll out the training on-site, person to person. From time to time, it will also become clear between different contractors that there are common issues of understanding, misunderstanding, learning needs. And if we see that an on-site workshop, in-person workshop is required, where the interaction is a little bit better and there's a fair number of people that want to attend, we will arrange those workshops as well. Sometimes in-person training is just a lot better than online training, although online training also has several benefits. This is my colleague Frans Grobler. You can see his face. Nice, friendly guy. Highly competent. He has done a lot of contractor development in Mozambique, South Africa, Botswana, and is a person that is highly committed to helping people perform to the best of their ability. Friendly, but very, very competent. Long years, long background in various industries, petrochemical, construction, all kind of industries. So he's a rich source of information. He's a patient person, and he, like I said before, is really committed to making people perform better. So don't hesitate to go and see Frans in his office if you have any needs. This is me, as you have already seen in the video. My name is Chris Pienaar. I am the program manager, and I will also be on site from time to time, and I will deliver most of the online training as well as some of the in-person training. I've had a few calls, and I think it's important that I stress, what does ISTEC not do as part of this program? Firstly, we do not arrange contracts and we don't provide jobs. We also don't employ people or contractors as part of this project, unfortunately. To get on the ESD program, you will have to contact Sappi directly, and if you pass the criteria, they will enroll you into the program. Only once you comply with the HSE requirements and the vendor requirements, and Sappi has a need for your business, will they put you into the procurement system, and then you have a chance to start doing business with Sappi. It's also not guaranteed that you will start doing business immediately, because you are then in a commercial environment and you will have to compete with other people in terms of service delivery and price. Lastly, completion of this program is not a guarantee that Sappi will do business with you. Like I said, it is still a competitive environment where you have to look at quality and price. And if there's no need for your service or whatever you require, then nobody will buy it either. So it's important in terms of your business plan that you keep this in mind. There are no handouts. This is a development program, but you still need to be able to compete competitively in the commercial environment. For some people, this whole online training environment might be strange, and I know that there are older people in our communities. I'm an older people myself. That might not be so familiar with online training. So why do we want to go online training? Well, firstly, why do we want to do training before we start looking at online training? Well, if you want to run a business and you want to run it safely, you need to have management systems in place, financial management systems, personnel management systems, and risk management systems. Now, our interviews have shown that most people that are already doing with Sappi, business with Sappi, and want to do with Sappi, they have what is known as a safety file. A safety file is a set of records that the client requires so that he can form an idea whether his suppliers are actually doing ethical, safe, environmentally friendly business. Because the client has a responsibility to make sure that he only does business with people that are ethical, protect their people, that will not cause harm to their people, to their employees, and to themselves and to the environment. So there is a requirement from the client that you need to have certain performance criteria that you need to meet. Unfortunately, what has happened in the industry is that the safety file, which is required by the client, has become the end. It's become the alpha and the omega. It's become the beginning and all of what people think that they need to have in place. And once they have the right set of papers in that safety file, then the client is satisfied. It appears as if the contractor has a good health and safety management system because there's proof in the file. Some people have very good safety files and some people have very poor safety files, sometimes with empty templates. However, a safety file is only proof that you have something in place. And currently, most of the service providers that we have interviewed have safety files, but there's no proper health and safety management system that backs this. So what we have is somebody is producing a set of papers that we can present that makes it appear as if we are managing our health and safety properly. Unfortunately, there's often very little knowledge or a lack of knowledge and no formal processes that actually supports the safety file. The training that we are going to roll out is going to take you from a simple compliance kind of level where you are just producing a safety file to be able to do business to the level where you can actually manage the health and safety risks in your company. That will then enable you to keep on producing the right information that needs to be contained in the safety files. And it will allow you to adapt to different circumstances, different organizations, different companies, and if different clients require different contents in the safety file, your health and safety management system should be able to produce that information. So firstly, the training then is aimed at developing the management of the company so that you can have a good health and safety management system in the background that will produce the information for the safety files as well as keep people healthy and safe. Now, this learning process, this training and development process is a long process. I know I've had many years of experience learning how this works, and we are going to condense this and try and transfer it to you in as short as possible the time that we've got available. But it takes time, and you cannot come and sit in a class for an hour or for a day and absorb everything. So, this stuff has got to ferment in your brain. It's got to mature in your brain. So by going the online route, we can deliver training in little bits and pieces over a longer period of time rather than cramming it solidly into a day, overwhelming people, and some people will absorb it and other people will not. So online training allows people to learn at their own pace, and people, because they start from different points, some people are more advanced in their knowledge in terms of health and safety and environmental risk management. Some people have got tertiary qualifications in that. Other people are starting out in business and they have no idea that this is the first time that they are encountering this. An online training platform allows people to start the journey at the right point and then learn at their own pace, rather than getting squeezed in concentrated information in short times. People learn and develop at different rates, and online platforms and the way that we will roll it out will allow people to develop at different rates, and sometimes there are late entries to the program. They can join and they can look at the online training and catch up or just do the training as they require. So that's the reason why we actually do the online training. These are the opportunities that I spoke about. With online training, more than one candidate per company can actually join. There are companies that are not run by a single owner. They have subordinate managers, they have other family members in there, and it's good if all the partners, all the participants, all the stakeholders in this company can actually learn the same lessons. They can support each other, and the whole company is elevated rather than one person then struggling to transfer that information to his other partners. Individuals can process and progress on their own time, at their own pace. It does not require you to let your work stand. I know when you're an entrepreneur, it's not always possible to walk away from your client and to come and sit in a class for 3 or 4 days or a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So having online training allows you to learn when you can, as fast as you can. Some people will learn quick, some people will go slow, some people will have time during the day, and other people will have to look at night and over weekends. Online training makes that possible so that you don't miss out on training sessions or on classes when you cannot necessarily attend. Like I said, online training allows for late entry to the course. We will have feedback systems in place. Some people have already gone into a bit of a panic because there are assignments. Yes, there will be assignments because training is not a one-way process. Communication is not a one-way process. We are going to share information with you, share knowledge with you, but in order for me to understand, or for the teacher and the facilitator to understand that you have understood the training, you will have to do quizzes, you'll have to do assignments, but the assignments will be practical, so that when we deliver the knowledge, you will do the practical assignment and you will develop whatever you require in your health and safety system, so that the end product of that assignment and that learning session is one component of your health and safety management system. So little bit by little bit, we will be building the health and safety management system. Every time you will build, we will teach you how, and then you will build your own component, your own brick for the house, and then after you're done, you'll take that brick and you'll put it into the house. And at the end of the training courses, at the end of this whole training session, you will have a complete health and safety management house, or a structure that is working and functioning, and you can then just maintain it. So that's the whole idea behind the feedback. The assignments, I've made it clear to some people already, will not have a due date. We allow you to progress at your own pace. Of course, if you fall too far behind, we will have to call you and say, whoa, what's happening? Do you have a lack of time? Is there a lack of understanding? Is there anything that we can do to help? And we will also track the participation of different people in this program. Like I said as well before, from time to time we will have in-person training, but online also allows us to have webinars. We can have Zoom meetings, we can have Zoom group meetings around a topic. Online training gives us that freedom wherever we are, different times of the day. We can actually have these sessions where we can learn from the facilitator and from each other. There are, however, threats as well to this program and to participation of this program, and that is what you guys have to manage as participants. Firstly, some people may not be as at home digitally, online, and with the online training environment. If you have difficulty, contact us. We'll see if we can train you, coach you, go and visit your friends, ask other people to help you. If you're an older person, ask the grandchildren, maybe they can help you. Whatever you need. We can also have live sessions where you bring your tools and equipment, your software, and we can see if we can coach you to do that. Of course, you need internet access to do this, but you can download the videos using YouTube downloaders and stuff like this, and you can do the work offline. But unfortunately, yes, you will require some form of internet connection, and it must be a reasonably fair one. Fortunately, what I've seen in the area is that internet access is relatively good, and we will also try and maintain the information that the volumes are manageable when you download them and view them. There is a risk, however, because I'm not there and you're not in the classroom, that you are going to submit other people's work as part of the feedback session. And then I would think, or the trainer, the teacher, the facilitator might think that you are doing well because you've got the right paper. And then we're back at the beginning where you just produce a piece of paper, you make it appear as if you've got a good health and safety management system and understanding, but you don't really. Okay, so it's important when we ask you to do feedback that you give honest feedback so that we know exactly where you are. If you're struggling, let us know. This is not school. It's not about failing. It's not about getting good or bad marks. It's about understanding what you need to have in your business. We're adults. Let's treat each other like that. There's always the risk of language barriers. I don't speak isiZulu. I don't speak Setswana. I am Afrikaans and English speaking, and I can speak a little bit of Fanagalo. We have people in the company that are Zulu speaking and Xhosa speaking. So if you really have a problem, we can use those people to help you understand and translate whatever you can't. If English is your third language or second language or seventh language, it's not always easy to understand the terminology and the words. So please, if you don't understand, let us know so that we can manage that issue. Lastly, I'm concerned that there are people that are already doing business with the client, and therefore they are happy that they've overcome the obstacle of the safety file and of making sure that they've got a safety management system, and therefore they might believe that they don't need to learn. Please, if that is your attitude, I invite you to participate and see the kind of training and the knowledge that we are going to share. If you have only done a safety file, or if you have somebody else that is doing your safety file for you, and if you do not have a health and safety management system, I promise you, you will take away a significant amount of learning from this training course, which doesn't cost you any money because the client is already sponsoring it. All you have to do is invest some time into this game and learn something for your own benefit and for that of your company. So please, if you've already got business, you think you've overcome that obstacle, put that behind you and come and learn a little bit more. The online tool that we are going to use in this course is called Google Classroom. Now, Google Classroom is a very good platform that we've used for online training. It really gained ground and was developed during the lockdown period where people started doing online and remote work, and we are going to use that. We are sticking to free tools so that people don't have to buy software. So all you need to do is you need to get a free Google email address, and you need to then go to the classroom, and in the WhatsApps that we've circulated, you need to then join the classroom. So there's a link that gets made available to people that are in this ESD program. You click on the link and you follow the instructions and you join the classroom. Unfortunately, that classroom will only give me the name that you enter and maybe your email address. And I need to know a little bit more about you and your company, who you belong to. So the first task that you have when you become part of the classroom will be to enroll or to complete the enrollment form. That will tell me, like I say here, it tells me who's who in the zoo. I can link you to a company and I can link you to a certain kind of operation or a business. And that enables me to help you when we're talking about forestry. If that's your business, then I immediately know what kind of hazards and tools and things you require. If we talk about general construction, transport, whatever the case might be. Also, more than one people from one company will enroll, and I just need to link those 3 people to the different companies to also be able to report to Tsakani Nyakani of Sappi on who is participating and how the progress is going. So join the Google Classroom and please complete the enrollment form. This brings us to the end of this video. It's only an introductory one, The second video is going to focus much more on how to work Google Classroom. I have shared links on WhatsApp to the help desk and to videos on YouTube where you can go and have a look at how you need to use Google Classroom. The video that I will post will focus on the structure of our classroom. So it will not be a general video. It will cover how it works, but it will be very specific to the way that we are going to apply Google Classroom. So please, when you see that video come up, go and watch it. It will help you to understand how we are going to drive this. Thank you for watching this video. It is a long one, I know. Hopefully there was some useful information in it for you.